I know this is really interesting. Oh, nobody heard me. Okay, let me do this again. I'll say aloha. I don't know what happened a while ago, but okay. I am Daryl. I am your host for today. I am from the Philippines, and as I've mentioned, while this mic is not on, this is off a while ago, but now I think everyone's hearing me loud and clear right now. I will introduce again our podcast. Our podcast guest for today. His name is Mustapha El Akkari. Mustafa is working as the head of raw materials at Tesla, managing diverse portfolio of raw materials commodities. He holds a Bachelor's of Science in Investment Finance and Supply Chain Management from BYU-Hawaii and an MBA from the University of Oxford. While here in Hawaii, Mustafa was an NCAA student athlete. A fun fact about him actually is that before coming to Hawaii, he had never heard nor been exposed to the Polynesian culture, LDS religion, nor the Aloha Spirit, but he learned to embrace all three of them and live by the principles, which led him to becoming the first non-LDS student body president of the university. And right now, let's give it up for our guest for today. Drum roll, please. We have Mustafa El Akkari. Hi, Mustafa. How
Hello.
are you today? Should I
Aloha.
say
I'm doing great.
aloha?
Hey. Good to be
All
here.
right. It's good to it's actually we're really excited for you to be here. Actually, I know you're a busy guy. You're working in a huge company right now. You're working in Tesla, and I think we will talk about that later on. But I guess for now, uh, I introduced you like a very quick, very quick. But is it okay if you introduce yourself for us right now?
Yeah, I'll start with now and walk you backwards.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the group manager of raw materials here at Tesla. I'm based in San Francisco, but I manage all of our raw materials for our vehicles, our energy sector, which is like solar roof, Megapack, Powerwall, etc. And we work very closely also with SpaceX to build rockets to send them to Mars
Wow.
one day as the mission. I've been here for 3 years. It's been an amazing ride. Um, as we speak, the things that we do are incredible. It's really has been mind blowing being at a company like this and be part of the transformation that we have disrupted in the industry. Prior to Tesla, I was in the UK. I attended the University of Oxford. I did my MBA over there. One of the best years of my life. Had a blast doing my MBA. And before that, I was based actually in Provo, Utah, working for a beauty care company called New Skin. I was a pretty close friend with the CEO and a lot of the executive team, and they brought me in, and I was there for about 4.5 to 5 years. While I was there, I helped enter the region Greater China, which was a big part of our success story. And I ended up managing 56 countries for the company, doing all of their operations, supply chain
Wow.
management, and manufacturing. So that was definitely a blast. Traveled a lot, spent probably half of the 5 years in China. A lot of it was in Shenzhen and Shanghai. And really, what led me to Provo was BYU Hawaii. In 2009, I got a call from Brandon Kana, and he was the assistant coach, and told me, "Hey, we got one more scholarship. Do you want to come out here?" And I was like, "I've never heard of you. Like, what is it? What's out there?" And really, the recruiting call was more of, "Look, here's the honor code, and if you honor it, you'll do great here." And really, that's how we did it. I signed it. I probably a week later, I was in Hawaii. Did that for 3 years, and my last year, I decided to run for student body president, and did that as well. Prior to that, I um, was born in Lebanon, in the Middle East. I was born and raised, and north of the country. I was based in Beirut. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
I was raised in Beirut. I was raised north of Beirut in Tripoli. Basketball was my thing. It was my escape from everything that was going on in the country and the region. And so I did that for 16 years. And then really one day I got a call from a head coach in Houston, Texas, at a high school. And 3 days later, I was in Houston. So I did 2 years in Houston, Texas, and then the BYU-Hawaii call came. So it's been a fun ride.
Wow, that's an interesting story out there. As we have said a while ago, Mustafa was the student buddy here, student buddy president when he was here in BYU Hawaii. And I think my first question with you right now is, I think going back to the memory lane, being a student here, being a student buddy president here in BYU Hawaii, what are the experiences that you have that help you on experiences here in BYU Hawaii that help you on where you are right now?
Wow, that was 2009. So that was nearly 12 years ago.
That was just yesterday.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. I remember I got this call from Brandon Akana, and I signed the paperwork, and I was in Hawaii. And I remember three things hit me right away that I had no idea what they were at the time. And one, it was the Polynesian culture. Two, it was the Aloha Spirit. And three, it was the LDS religion. And all three of them hit me at once. That we can dive in later. But I learned to embrace them. I loved everything about my 4 years in Hawaii. And I still ride it till now. I got posters of my hometown, of where I am right now in California, and I have a poster of Oahu, and North Shore is zoomed in on it. So there is a special place in my heart for Laie and for BYU Hawaii. To your question, I think like what I learned, takeaways, like academically, I honestly learned. I was in attendance. I was present. I showed up to classes and events, and I learned a lot. I learned how to better use a keyboard and a laptop, and how to communicate, and how to get along with people and professors. And I learned to improve my English language, and even business practices in classes, or marketing, anthropology. I mean, I was pretty engaged in my academics. So I did learn. Second, I was an athlete. So I was pretty active in training and exercising and being on the traveling team. So that also was a great experience to be a part of. We went to a championship game one year, which we took it to the farthest that we could. So that was definitely an accomplishment that I take pride on, and I learned a lot from. Third, community. I was fascinated by not BYU Hawaii alone, but really the actual local community. It was foreign to me. Like being on an actual island, understanding there are islands out there if you look more east. So that was just fascinating. And I tried to spend a lot of times with the actual local people. And that just helped me understand where all of this is coming from, and what is this really about. And I'd say all of these led me my senior year to run for student body president. So it was the best 4 years of my life. Being the president was the absolute experience. I wish every student can do that. It's just not you know, technically um, available for every
Yeah.
student to be a president. But people say, you were the first non-Mormon that became president, etc. That's a great accomplishment. But I say it's the other way around, where it speaks a lot of the university and the people that actually went and voted for a non-Mormon to be a president. So it speaks a lot of how open that community is and how welcoming it is. So um, a lot of takeaways there.
Yeah, surely, surely. I mean, that's really interesting, actually. As you have said, you're not a member of the church, but still, you became the president, the student body president of BYU-Hawaii. And as you have said, it speaks a lot about the university. And thank you so much, actually, for sharing that. Before we continue, for those that are just listening or like watching right now on our podcast, please, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, just let us know through our comment section below, and Mustafa will address those questions for you. Not me, but Mustafa will do that for you. Okay. Um, I think we'll continue on to the next question that we had. I think you mentioned about the things that you did while you're studying here, and I think it's really interesting too to know the other way around. What if we go back to the memory lane again? What are the things that you think that you wish you did more while studying here, that you think that help you on where you are right now?
Something I wish I did while I was studying. I tried to stretch myself a lot, too thin to keep up with everything, the events, the connecting with new people, going out, attending classes, looking out for my own self. So I tried to do a lot. One thing I'd say I wish I did was getting on a deeper level with the people, or it doesn't have to be everyone, but having a group of friends that I can get to a deeper level with. That's something I wish I did more. But you can't do everything while being a student. But I've learned there's a lot to winning from building these tight communities, having the right friends, and getting really on a deep, as we say, like level 5 type of conversations. Because as students, we're very young and we're growing almost by the week, if not the day. We're just sucking in all this information. We're taking on a lot of things. We're all kind of outliers in that campus. And so having the right friends and the right maturity level, I'd say, is very important for us to um, share on things we're going through, whether it's good to continue to build on, whether it's bad to say, well, it's normal because I've gone through it too, or just having real deep conversations with friends is very important. And that's the bond of communities, is really finding people for these type of purposes, which is difficult to do, I think, as a student, because we're going through a lot in a very fast fashion way. Um, but I do it now. I mean, it's not something I wish I did, and it cannot be fixed because life gets busier and gets more demanding. But I am doing it now. Yes, I have a busy job and I have responsibilities in my personal life, but I always find ways to block time for real, meaningful connection with certain friends.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. And as we have mentioned, you were student body president here, and you were a student athlete while you're studying here. Wow. So how did you manage those, studying, student body president, and you're an athlete? How did you manage all those kind of stuff while while you're here in BU Hawaii? And of course the social, you know I know you have a social life also while studying here. So how did you manage all of those?
Mm. I mean, discipline is everything. You know, we want to do everything, and it's just not going to work. Um, so understanding the priorities at different times is very important. We can have, I mean, let's theoretically say you're working on something that is work related, that's very important for the next 2 weeks. It's a contract that you have to close and negotiate well, but at the same time, a child of yours gets sick. Um, you're dropping everything and going to that hospital and being with your child. So, like, understanding these priorities without actually becoming a disaster, reshuffling those priorities is very important in life, as a student, in relationships. So that's one thing I did well. And me as a person, I'm very goal oriented, where I take it to the extreme sometimes. So if I want something, I really do give it my best. Not that I strip everything away from life. I continue with engaging with all the things that are going on, but my eyes are always on that goal until it's closed or fully monitored. Um, but reshuffling priorities, understanding where things fall in play, um, is very important. They change very often. Um, Sometimes they change daily, but there's 2 to 3 things we could do at a time. And I'm reading the comments here, and also, um, so as a student, I think we're there to get good grades and graduate. I think that's the bottom line, and it's that journey that we take to walk out of that door with a diploma. I mean, you just went through it. So it's the end destination has to be met, which is graduating and getting a certain GPA or etc. But it's that path, and these milestones we go through are it's really within our control and our hands, and it's how much effort we want to put in it.
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much. I think that is a great advice for everyone that is studying and currently studying, and those that just graduated. It's just the effort that we do. And so this is a fun question to ask. So what is your favorite subject while studying here in BYU Hawaii, and how it helped you to where you are right now? And I think we can add also, like, who are those people that you still remember while studying here? Like maybe professors or classmates that you're like, maybe we can shout out to them.
Yeah, I talked to one of them actually this morning.
Oh, okay.
Um, but you're going to I some of the professors are still there teaching the same thing, so I don't want to play favors. I really I enjoyed, and that sounds cliche, but I really did enjoy every class that I took. I was very intentional about it. um, I'll tell you 2 classes that I enjoyed the most. One, it was business strategy with Jason Earl. It was his first semester, and it was my final year, and it was a great class. Um, you know, my classmates were great. I still remember the setting of the classroom. There were a lot of debates in that class. There wasn't a right answer. It's just how we back up those assumptions and those debates. Very strategy, very business focused. So I really enjoyed that one. Still in touch with him regularly, with a lot of the classmates as well, regularly. My other favorite class was on the other side of it, of the spectrum, which is anthropology. Becca Walker. It was an eye opening, to learn about cultures and different things, things that I didn't fully learn through community work and through friends and classmates, but actually learned it by books and try to understand it. So that was a good one. We'll go out in the fields, in Oahu, and help the locals out with their lands, and clean some beaches and doing activities that was that was definitely very different than my major or my focus of studying. So um, they're I enjoy both of them.
Wow, that's so cool. I mean, while you were like talking about the strategic management, you know, the class, I also took that one with Brother Earl, Dr. Earl, and I enjoyed that class too. I mean, it's about the ComEx and CAPSIM and all those strategies. Most of the people, most of the friends that I have here in BYU-Hawaii, if I tell them, "Oh, the CAPSIM," and they'll be like, "Oh man, that CAPSIM thing," like CAPSIM is known for like being somehow sometimes very difficult, but that's what we do, right?
Yeah, it's true. Like I see it today where we have to sacrifice. Like, what do we put, people or automation? And
Hmm.
what's the extreme of it is not right. What is the right balance there, for example, and throughput observations and doing these cycle times. So we
Hmm.
we use it. We use it in real world.
Thank you for bringing that up. Actually, sometimes we think that the things that we're learning right now, sometimes people might think, oh, we might not even like use this in the future. But going to where you are right now, I know you are ahead of raw materials in Tesla, and is it applicable what you learned on that class on where you are right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's a broad statement to say yes or no. I'd say, um, like after BYU Hawaii, I went to Oxford and I
Mm-hmm.
did my MBA there. And
Mm-hmm.
if I look at my academic journey, you learn how to learn.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's. I mean, if we all have the right amount, or if we all have all the time in the world to learn about something, we'll become expert at it. It's just how to make these decisions with limited information. So let's say you're working on a task that needs 10 hours, but you only have an hour really to go through it and make a decision. Otherwise, it's too late. So 1 hour out of 10, that's 10% of information. That's 10% of due diligence. And I think a right balance of schooling and what we call the real life is very important to help us make those um, not best but optimal decisions with the information that we have. So yes, schooling help us learn things. So we learn how to learn, um, and that's what school did to me.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you. I think I like what you said, that you learn how to learn. That is really like quotable quotes right there. And I think we'll go to your job right now. It's kind of
Mm,
interesting because you're in a huge company. We always talk about this company in class. I'm a business major, so I always talk about they always talk about Tesla and whatnot, all the SpaceX, and um, you as a head of raw materials, what is it? Can you describe a day for you? Like, what is it like for you? What do you do? Like, maybe just a broad thing. How does your your um your day starts and whatnot?
yeah, every day is different. Tesla is it's a beast. Let's put it this way. Um, I came in 3 years ago when the word bankruptcy was used often inside of the company. Seeing it today, it's mind blowing. For a company that is heavy in assets, it's not a cloud business or a .com where it's really easy to turn around. Automotive and energy in general is it's just a difficult industry to move fast. And I just wanted to start with this just to help the audience understand the scale of the things that we do. So um, the day-to-day basis, I say I use this often. We work so hard to keep up, but not to get ahead. Um, so what that means is at Tesla, you always feel like you're behind because what we're trying to do is really change the world. We're trying to change a habit of driving on fossil fuels, for example, or living a certain way. whether it's with the solar or the power wall at with home automation. We're trying to change hundreds of years of lifestyle that has been done in a certain way and try to do it differently. So that's very difficult to do. The product happens to be a car, which, in my opinion, I believe is probably the most complex thing to build. So it's a difficult job. I'm not going to say it's an easy one, but I love it. There's so much learning from it. And that's something that matters to me. Self-development and self-growth is something that I value a lot. So that definitely exists. The other part is the things that we're doing and the mission of the company is very difficult to disagree with. For anyone to disagree with, is really sustaining the energies, introducing renewable energy. It's very difficult to disagree with. So, and the third thing is really what we put on the roads are probably arguably the best products in the world. We say we need to build the best car that happens to be electric. So every day to day, I'd say we do 100 things at the same time. I literally mean it. We do 100 things at the same time, and we just have to muscle our way through it and prioritize things at the right time to make these decisions. And every decision is a very expensive one and is a very valuable one. There isn't really a decision that is not important. So it's a very fast-paced environment, and it's very clear on what do we want to do. And when other companies take 3 to 4 years to do it, to launch a vehicle, we need to do it in 6 to 9 months, and that's being generous. So I think it's based on two things: capabilities, which means, are you capable? Are you smart enough to use common sense to make these decisions? And number two is work ethic. I don't know how someone could do it with a 9 to 5 type of job. So it's probably double that number that it requires, let's say, from the workforce. But the fun part is we see very quick results. We run very fast. We make decisions based on common sense and not it's always been done this way type of mentality. And we go for it. Now, as for my role, raw materials, I touch everything in the vehicle pretty much. That's a good way to think of. Everything is made from raw materials, whether it's resin for plastics, steel, aluminum, copper. You list the materials out there. So I touch almost every team in the company, but it's a fun job. The things that we do and the things that we go about is mind blowing, and I think the results are showing now.
Oh yeah, it is. It is. Everybody knows Tesla. Who doesn't know Tesla, right? So, I think my next question is, you landed a job in Tesla, and as you have mentioned a while ago that you work in Provo before, and maybe the question is, how did you land the job that you are in right now? Did you apply for it? Did you have like a network that you contacted with in this company? What is the process?
I'm gonna give you the full story. I was an athlete and I broke my foot, and I heard there's something on campus called IIPP. And a lady named Barbara Barrington Jones, she comes in and runs this program. All I knew at the time was pretty much basketball and shooting hoops.
Wait, is this here in BYU-Hawaii?
Yes.
Okay.
And so I went and began attending those classes, the IIPP classes. It was, I think, 8 classes you have to attend, and we'll interview people that are interested in internships, and we'll take 5 of them. or something like that. So I attended. I crossed all 8 classes and put in an application to one day do an internship, and got selected, and um, they chose me. They chose me as part of the, I can't remember if it was 5 or 10 students that they wanted to take on internships in Utah. And they said, you will be great at a company called Newskin. And I mean, I probably have heard maybe of one company in my life, and that's maybe the NBA for basketball. And they're like, it's beauty care, they do lotions and shampoos and creams. I'm like, yeah, great. I'd love that. So we flew there to Utah, and it was like a 1 week of a crash course with the company / internship.
Mm-hmm.
And on day 2, I was supposed to go and observe the executive committee in the boardroom meeting. Had no clue what it was. And so I was there, and I started talking to the executive team, and the CEO was over there as well. And it got a bit intense between myself and the executive team, and I was pushing back and challenging them, and they were doing the same. And I honestly had no clue who are these people? What am I here for? I'm probably jet lagged from Hawaii and pretty cold, wearing a suit. And the CEO came to me and he was like, I loved everything that you said here. Here's my business card. If you need anything, you can reach out to me personally.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Truman Hunt. He's a great friend of mine. And I'm talking, he was the CEO of the year in Utah, or the West Coast of the United States, probably 3 years in a row. I mean, the guy was killing it at the time. And I followed up. I became good friends. We connected. He was interested in Lebanon and the Middle East, my upbringings, and where I want to go in life. And, he'll come to Hawaii, he'll take me out to dinner if he was on a business trip. And I followed up. I did 2 other internships while I was a student, like 6 weeks each.
Mm-hmm.
So I connected at a deeper level in the company. So he's a busy guy who's, running a $4 or $5 billion company. There was a million distributor active that he was busy with, shareholders on Wall Street. So he didn't have time for me. But when I got the internship, I really connected with my colleagues, and I made my manager, I made him look good while I was
Mm-hmm.
there. I pretty much took over. I was a young, hungry intern from Hawaii. And when time for a full-time role came after I graduated, actually, I remember I got this other internship there when I graduated, and they said, you manage Greater China. It's a small market for us. It was generating like $200 million a year. I know that sounds like a big number, but for them, it was nothing.
Wow.
And they're like, let's put the intern on it. And so
Wait,
2
you're
months
still an
into,
intern when they did that?
yeah.
Wow.
So 2 months into it, I come into the office, and the forecasts were like quadrupling. So apparently what had happened, we applied for licenses in China to operate there 10 years ago. And while I was an intern, we got approved for all the licenses. And so, so all of a sudden it became the most important thing in the company. And they were like, let's put the intern on it. He's been doing all these complex supply chain work that really no one cared about at the time. I was putting all these sophisticated things in play in case that day happens. And it did. And I got converted to a full-time. So that year, I think China was 200 million. We closed $2 billion. So we grew dramatically. So got transferred to really be a full-time manager over there at a young age. Then they helped me operate, oversee all of their 56 countries also at a young age. And
That's a
then
lot.
it kept me busy, and I was learning, and I was doing a good job, and the company was growing. It was a good time. And then I decided I'm hitting a ceiling here. I need to go and get my MBA, which I always wanted to do. And I moved to the UK and did 1 year Oxford While I was at Oxford, I was supposed to return to New Skin,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the classes was about doing business in China. So I
Mm-hmm.
wrote about Tesla, and a few weeks later, Elon Musk announces entering breaking grounds in Shanghai.
Wow.
So I had a friend who's actually from BYU Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I said, "Hey, here's my paper. This is exactly what you need to do in China." And they brought me in, and the rest is history.
Wow, that's so cool. I mean, that's an impressive story on how you landed your job right now. Wow. I mean,
Yeah.
so you mentioned you had an MBA, as you have mentioned. Well, you had an MBA from Oxford University, and is that like you? How do I say this? Like, is that your first choice of school that to get an MBA over there, or is there any other school that you're really interested in?
Yeah, I always wanted to go to Harvard Business School, and I think it just like sounded right and sounded good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then as I was going through like the MBA applications and the process of it, I put a handful of applications, MIT, Stanford, Wharton, and then I remember the chairman of the board at Newskin. Um, he came to me. He's like, "Did you put in your application for Oxford?" And I'm like, I don't think I want to go there. But then, the chairman of the board told me to do so. So I went ahead and, of course, did that. But, it just felt right. A week into my application, I mean, after I submitted it, they came back a week later and they were like, "Hey, we read your application. We want to talk to you. When are you
Wow.
available?" So they were invested. Um, I got to learn more about it because they were calling me for an interview. And I said, "Yeah, I want to go there," and I ended up there.
Wow. So, as we're discussing right now, you had a lot of like decision making that you did, those crucial decisions, important decisions that you're doing. I think my question is, what is one thing that you're like the first thing that you look into a decision that you're making? Like, this is what I need to
Mm.
do.
Hmm. I'd love to think of myself as very rigorous in my decisions, but I'm honestly not. I trust my gut feeling more
Mm-hmm.
than the plus and minuses. Um, I just have an intuition that I trust so much, and it just feels right away. If it needs to be done, I pretty much jump on it right away. Um, but it has served me well to that point. Um, and but I do that often, even if I interview people. Um, they might be great, but there's something that I can't explain that it's not feeling right. It's not feeling well, and I end up saying no. I don't feel good about it. Uh, so I did say earlier that I'm very goal oriented,
Mm-hmm.
and so I do tend to put my mind into something, and but I am open minded about it. So if I don't get that thing, the Harvard, I ended up going to Oxford. So um, which I thought was good, and I was good with it, and I made the best of it. Um, so I think keeping an open mind while going towards that goal, so many opportunities come left and right, that I thought I leveraged a lot and took advantage of.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And I think my next question is, while you're studying here, after all those years, after you graduated, you know, what are some challenges, or if there is any, that you faced after graduation? I think I am asking this also personally because, as I mentioned a while ago, I just graduated last Saturday, and if you were looking back on your graduation day or even before graduation, and after graduation, maybe the first few weeks that you just graduated? What are the challenges, and how did you face those challenges?
I'm not going to lie, it is challenging. Like, it's difficult because we are isolated on an island. Let's start there, and that's just the reality of it. So being isolated already is it's difficult to start with. Not many companies, say, "Oh, I'm going to Hawaii to recruit." So that's a challenge to start with. The other challenge is really trying to find out, like, where do I want to live? Which company do I want to work for? Who's going to hire me? And so these are all things that I don't think many are prepared for. And really the third one is, not every student faces it, but the reality is a lot of us are international students, and there's this immigration factor that there is a timeline of where do I go from here? And the safest bet is to go home. And maybe home is not the right thing to do right away. So there's a lot of things we need to navigate through in a very short amount of time, while still getting through our exams and final. I mean, it's really a lot on a student to handle. Some of them, or some of you students, have families, and it's more than just you singing alone. Probably have a wife, you probably have kids, more than a kid. So I know I'm laying all these problems because I do want to legitimize it and not downplay it, because they are legitimate. So I did struggle. Of course I did, just like probably many of the students do. Their self-doubt, is what I'm doing the right thing? Is me being in Utah the right thing? Working at a beauty care company when other classmates are going to big banks or starting businesses, or they seem to have their life figured out, with whether trying to do their own thing or working for big brands, and here I am in Provo, Utah, working for a beauty care company. There was the self-doubt, definitely. So there is a lot of that, and I think it's important to do self-reflections, and I truly mean it. Whether it's I emphasize on having these communities that I opened up with here. One thing I regretted doing at BYU-Hawaii is having these strong bonds that, yes, I can talk with people about these things and not have them judge me or criticize me, or take them seriously, even though maybe it might not matter to you, but it does matter to me. I mean, you said you're going through it, you just graduated, and you probably have a lot of concerns of, like, whatever I do in the next year could determine the next 10 years. So I'd say it's really important to get the right mentorship to start with. So having the right mentors is very important. Like, you have legitimate professors at BYU-Hawaii, and some of them probably are not your favorites. You don't respect them or think highly of them, and that's totally okay. But pick 2 or 3 of them and say, and make it clear to them that you're my mentor. We're friends and all that, but I need you here because I'm going to have to make difficult decisions. And if you don't want to be part of this, or you're not up for it, that's okay. So having the right mentors is very, very important to help you, meet your objectives and your goals. And these mentors change, because, like, you're going to outsmart them eventually with time, and you have to change them to stay ahead of the game. So, every 2-3 years, maybe 5 years, you have to change them. But having the right mentors is important. Self-reflection is very important. It's different than prayers and fasting. It's really sitting down with yourself and understanding what you have gone through and where you are and where do you want to be. This is real. Like, this is not just a bunch of fluff here. We go through a lot. we're sucking a lot of information in a short amount of time. We're leaving the island. We might, move away from North Shore, go to Honolulu, go back home, wherever home is. It's a lot that we're processing, and we're getting hit with a new culture all of a sudden. So having self-reflection, having the right, we can call them coach or psychologists, and for health benefit purposes is very important. And that's something the university provides, self-help and coaching and whatever challenges we're going through. I think there are professionals on campus that can help with that. But I think, like, on the flip side, being goal-oriented, having a grit, tenacious, that attitude serves very well, and being confident, like having actual opinions, like having strong opinions about matters, whether it's politics, civics, religion, academics, businesses, history. I think that's what makes us humans. I mean, what are we without opinions? So those skills really serve well, and the soft skill, the only one that really stand out is communication. Is being able to communicate with others. It's not about knowing it. It's about communicating it and actually making an effort to listen to other people and hear them out, instead of just thinking of the answer while they're talking. Like, if we put effort in listening, it becomes very organic and conversational. I know I've spilled a lot here, but I did want to highlight the fear is real, and the self-doubt is also real. But everyone go through it. I think being tenacious, putting in the work, and having confidence are always great skills to get us out of it.
Wow, thank you for those advices. I mean, those are really great, and I will definitely do that as a fresh grad, right? um, I think we'll go now to the comment section, which is like the the ones that are watching right now, um, commented while we are discussing, and first thing is we have Richie Norton. I mean, he says woot woot, and he just like send this emoji. Do you know Richie?
Oh yeah, I know Richie very well. Richie was actually a student body president at the university, long ago, before my time. But him and I got really close during that time.
Mhm.
We're still friends. We talk. We should talk more. We should. It's been many years since we've connected, so it's a good time to share notes and see what we're up to in life.
Nice, nice. We also have Lay. Says Aloha Mustafa. I know she's the one that really contacted you to do this podcast, and she's like, yeah, Mustafa's really great to be in the podcast.
Lay and I go way back. She's the best, really. I can't. I mean, words are too cheap to describe her. She's just an angel. She's amazing.
Nice. We also have I I saw a lot of her comments here right now. From Kisaya Kaufusi Patchett. She says Musku. Is that how they call you back before?
Okay, so Kesa and I ran for student office together. She was the
Oh, okay.
executive VP, and I was the president. And
Uh-huh.
yeah, we ran together for a year, and it was a blast.
Yeah.
I see Pauline up here, and other names
Uh-huh.
that helped us a lot with it, and were a big part of it. We stayed in touch. She went and got her higher education as well while I was getting mine. So good to see her on here. Hi, Kesa.
That is nice. She actually, I think she tagged Pauline Kofusi and Sarah Levitt Javielit.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
Yeah,
I think based on all this comments that they were like commenting, I think that you're really close with them. So that is really nice, to reconnect with the people that you are with while you're studying here. We also have from Jen Leilua. She says, "Way to go, Mustapha El Akkari, with all those 100%."
love Jen. I know her very well. We're we were very good friends in Hawaii, and I
That
mean it's a
is.
small community. You talk about
Oh yeah,
3,000 students. I mean it becomes one big family, and weirdly so because we all kind of speak different languages and come mostly from different countries, but that's the magic about it.
that is nice. That is nice. I really, yeah, admire our university with that. We also have you talk about IIPP a while ago, and yes, I think Lay remembered that IIPP before. That is really nice. We also have Mark Basera.
Yeah,
It says Mustafa, my man.
yeah, great friend. I think we met on a Sunday in church, and it took off from there.
That is so nice. Are you in the same ward or you just like met in the church?
Yeah. I mean, we changed wards throughout the 4 years, but yeah,
Yeah,
at one period of time, we crossed paths there.
that is so nice. We also have, we said, Jen also says super inspiring. I mean, I can agree to that. your your story is really inspiring. We also have, I think this is uh, from Datsuna to, it says to the moon. I
Hey,
think this is pertaining to Tesla, all right?
I'll leave that to Elon to comment on.
Okay. Uh, yeah, Pauline says hi to you. As you have mentioned, Pauline, when you were here. That is so nice. We also have AJ Hernandez. It says Mustafa,
Mm,
aloha.
also a great friend. He's doing great things. We're in touch, but we were pretty tight during the school year in Hawaii.
That
We
is
have a
so
lot of mutual friends as well.
nice, nice. We also have Carla Bertram Shade.
Yeah.
She says, "Hey, from the Shades, amazing to see your achievements."
Yeah, I know the Shades very well. Brother Shade was an actual professor at BYU Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
He
Mm-hmm.
was a religion professor, one of the most open-minded human beings probably in the world. His job was to teach one religion with one language, and he came at me with like about Islamic arts and Islamic religion and trying to speak Phoenician and Arabic to me.
Wow.
Really challenged himself and his family to go and live in Jordan often. I mean, he might be there now as we speak, but really a guy that I have full respect for, and he actually made me love my time in his class, but also in the institution.
Nice, nice. She actually said also Habibi had Yakbir Harun Shades. I don't know what does it mean,
Yeah,
but I think that is for you.
it's all good words.
Okay. Yeah, so that's what um we also have a comment from Sam Fusi. He says, "My brother,
Sam.
good to see you, bro." That is
Uh,
so nice.
yeah, Sam was a basketball teammate.
Oh,
We
okay.
got really close. If
Uh-huh.
you're in the Bay Area, let's talk. I think he's from Oakland,
Okay.
uh, so we should get together.
Okay. We also have Janet Manzano Katahan. She says, "I remember cheering for you while playing for Seasiders, Mustafa. Remember the loud Filipino crowd. Great to see you and know of your success, of your successes." Wow. So is there like a Filipino fan out there while you were while you were playing basketball?
I athletics. I think there aren't any in Hawaii
No,
at
yeah.
BYU. It was
No.
a thing. It was a big thing. We have a great basketball gym slash arena, a small
Mm-hmm.
arena, and the crowd was lit. We
Mm-hmm.
were a winning team. I mean, we put on shows every ball game, and
Mm-hmm.
the fun part is we'll finish the game and we had nowhere to go, so we'll hang out with the students and really our classmates. So yeah, these were definitely fun days.
That is really nice. I mean, there's a lot of things going on actually right now in BYU Hawaii. We just had like I think the football turf or something. It's like a soccer
Mm.
turf that they just made. We had like a new gym. They're making a huge cafeteria right now here on campus, and they're building a new three-story building for the I think that's for the computer and sciences
Oh,
majors.
this is great.
Yeah, all everything. There's a lot going on right now here in BYU Hawaii, and it's really nice, to see it. I mean, unfortunately, I will not be here when the time comes that that all of those will be done. But hey, I'm really happy for those.
Oh, that's great. I mean, it's a great campus, with it or without it, but upgrades, I mean, they take time, you know,
Hmm.
and it's a long process to break grounds and do things. So great to see progress there.
That is really nice. Well, I think on the uh, going towards the end of our podcast, I think I want to talk about networking and connecting
Mm.
to you, because you are really like you will be a great mentor to our seasiders. I mean the students here in BYU Hawaii, and so I just want to discuss about the Ohana network that we're promoting on Ho'okele department, which is like a link in to our alumni that and friends of alumni that wants to connect with people that just graduated from BYU Hawaii, and I think Mustafa is also part of it. And also, you can also connect with Mustafa through his LinkedIn, right? So is
Yeah, I
that
mean,
okay with you?
LinkedIn,
Like,
Facebook, I'm on Instagram too. So
yeah. So if
reach
you
out
have
to
any
me.
questions,
Let's be friends. And if you have career, personal, whatever you're going through, I'm honestly, genuinely happy to be your friend and talk through it. We're all busy, but I think at some point we all need help and we need each other. So reach out.
that is that is really nice. That is really nice of you. Well, again, thank you so much for being in our podcast for today. It's really nice talking with you, learn a lot from you and the challenges, and how you come up with the solutions on with those challenges. And that is really nice. And is there anything else that you want to add or anything that, like, last few words before we end up this
I'm
podcast?
sad it's over. I'm looking at the time. It's nearly an hour of it feels like I just started, but um this is fun. Um I love everything about BYU Hawaii. Um Laie is this very special place. Oahu, um, Hawaii in general, I call it home. Um, so I'm happy to do more of these if needed. But I still remember when I first landed and all three things hit me at once: the Polynesian culture, the Aloha Spirit, and the LDS community. And all three of them are, I mean, three amazing combinations. Um, it's I've learned to embrace it, and I've learned to love it and have friends from all three different communities, and um, I still do. And it's such a special place. It's magical. Talking about roughly 3,000 student body, the community around that campus is very, very special. Um, and so 40 plus different languages, 70 plus different countries. There isn't like it. FYI, in case anyone have thought there's anything like it, there really isn't. So it's a very unique and special place, and I miss it a lot.
Well, we miss you a lot here also. in BYU-Hawaii here on campus. But thank you so much again for being our guest. Thank you for everything that you have, imparted to us, all the knowledge and all the wisdom that you gave to us today on our podcast. And hope to see you here on campus sooner or later.
Sounds good. I'd love that.
All
Thank you
right.
for having me.
Thank you so much, Mustafa.
All right.
Well, again, thank you so much for everyone that watch our podcast for today. As we all always mention, we have podcasts every Friday, which is the Aloha Friday podcast. That is every 3 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time, and also every Monday, our Mentoring Monday podcast. That is 1 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time. And if you, I mean, if you have any questions about our Mentoring Monday podcast or our Aloha podcast, or if you're an alumni that wants to um, be on our podcast, just reach out to us, and we'll work things out. And so again, thank you so much for tuning in. This is Daryl, your host for today's podcast, and as I've said, I just graduated, and this will be my last podcast for the Mentoring Monday. But again, it's been a privilege to be your host, and hope to see you soon again. And thank you so much, and mahalo, and aloha.